All right, good morning. I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply, and I was asked to do this video. Last week I did the video on the flip top shave kit, and when I did the binding on it, I used a sewing machine that I've never used in one of my videos before. And so somebody on the Makers of Maker's Leather Supply Facebook group tagged me and was like, hey, can you show us a little bit more of that machine? And I was like, well, yeah, why not, right? So here it is. Okay, so this is the Cobra 5550, and I'll bring the camera over in a second and do some, real close-up overview of this thing and everything. But basically, this thing is for tiny detail work. Okay, it only runs up to size like 96 thread. So if you like I only do things with big chunky thread, like this isn't for you. Okay, might as well just next video. But this one, they call it the boot top stitching machine. So all that fancy stitching you see on boot tops and stuff like that, a machine like this probably is what did it, okay? I'm running it right now with a size 69 thread. It'll go up one more size to like 96, and then that's about it. That's where it's capped, okay? I don't use this machine super often, but when I do, I make pretty cool stuff. Like the word Cadillac in this bag. I cut the word out, and I'm not gonna lie, I used my laser to do it. Cut it out of the dark brown leather, put the light brown leather behind it, and stitched all the way around the word with this machine right here. And yeah, so it is a really cool machine. It's got really cool capabilities. It's a relatively inexpensive machine. I didn't look up the price before the video. I should have, but it is literally the cheapest sewing machine that Leather Machine Company sells. So it's I realize that a price like that is, of course, subjective, but it's the cheapest one they sell. So yeah, I'm going to pause it. I'll take the camera off the tripod, and I will kind of give you an overview of what we're looking at here. Then we're going to sew on it a little bit, and there you go. So be right back. All right, guys, so here's what we're looking at. Again, this is the Cobra 5550 BB. It says, okay, not sure what the BB stands for, but it's called a 5550 in my eyes. It looks a lot like every other sewing machine. There's my reverse lever. There's my stitch length adjuster. Here's all the stuff that the thread goes down through to create tension on the thread. But here's the difference right here, this little bad boy. Okay, most of our sewing machines have walking feet that are gonna walk along the leather. This one has a little wheel. Okay, now the leather is moved through the machine with the feed dog, okay? The wheel is not powered. That little feed dog down there is what, let's see if I can get a little closer on that. That little feed dog down there is what moves the leather through the machine. The wheel maintains constant pressure against that feed dog so that the leather is constantly rolling through, okay? So the feed dog and the needle are what move the leather, okay? So it is really awesome because when that needle goes down, it is right beside that wheel. See how close those are? You actually have to be really careful that, if your wheel is not adjusted just right, or if it came loose or something, it might get in the way of that needle a little bit. I haven't had that happen yet, but I'm just assuming that, my turn's coming. Okay? So anyway, I am going to, I just cut out a circle out of this piece of leather and threw another piece of leather behind it. I did skive the back of my circle so it's a little bit thinner on just the edges, so it'll make a really nice clean inlay. But I figure a circle's good because, well, it's one of the hardest things to sew is a completely round shape, okay? Now, again, I don't use this machine a lot, so don't hold it against me if I don't do an amazing job at it, okay? Normally when I do something like when I did the Cadillac bag, that was not the first time I sewed that word Cadillac on there. I practiced with one just to make sure that I knew what the heck I was doing before I used my good leather and put my project under it, okay? So again, I'm gonna pause it. I'm going to find the best camera angle, and we're gonna get right back to this. All right, we're gonna try this angle, and hopefully I can keep my hands out of the way. But this machine is super easy to use. It's easy to thread. It's easy to everything. And since it takes such tiny, tiny, tiny thread, a bobbin lasts forever. Okay? So I'm going to lift up my presser foot here. And just like any other sewing machine, when I start sewing, I need to kind of hold on to my threads. All right. Make sure my hands are out of the way. It's hard for me to even see the screen because the camera's leaned down into it so much. So anyway, I'm just going to hold my threads, and I'm going to lightly press on my treadle, my gas pedal down here. Okay. And you can sew just right up against an edge like that because this thing is so amazing. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can't pick up the pace without screwing up, but you can hear that clicking noise. I think I need to rotate my needle a tiny bit. I did break a needle recently and put the new one in right before this video. So anyway, but this is what we're talking about, guys. One thing I have learned when I'm sewing around things like this is if I'm trying to use, like I love contrasting color stitching, and if I'm trying to use a contrasting color stitch, I'd better be real well and in practice with this machine because it is very difficult to keep everything nice and even. I mean, with a darker or a thread that kind of matches like this, like you don't really see any mistakes. It's no big deal. But let's say I was trying to use a white or a cream color thread on this. There's no chance that I would be able to make it look right where, you know, you didn't see where it was a little bit further from the line or in some areas or closer to the line in others and things like that. Okay. I've got to twist that needle so I don't damage my shuttle hook, but the show must go on. We're almost all the way around. Okay, so we're just going to go all the way around this bad boy. Now, we are going to just overstitch our beginning stitches like we do any other stitch. But a lot of the time when you're doing something like this, if you don't want to see where that overstitch is, what they'll do is they'll pull both threads to the back and tie it into a knot. If it's in an area that maybe they can hide or burn the knot down. So just, you know, for informational purposes. All right, so we're back at our first couple of stitches. And there we go. Now I'm going to pull my project out. We'll clip these threads and I'll show you how we did. Okay, I'm gonna back up the zoom just a tiny bit. There we go. So again, it looks pretty even and nice all the way around it. And if this were part of a larger project, you would never notice anything other than that. But if I was using a thread that was white or light colored or something, you'd probably notice a little bit more defects in it and stuff like that. So again, this is the Cobra 5550 Bravo from Leather Machine Company. They do have other roller foot machines. One of them is the 5110 post machine and the other one's the 8810 post machine. I do not have either of those in my shop, but I'm actually probably going to be getting one of the two in here pretty soon for some projects that I want to work on that will require a post machine. So more to follow on that. But anyway, this is a really cool machine. I really, really like it. I don't use it a lot, but when I use it, it is invaluable to me. So I'm not telling anybody that they need it by any means, but if you got a little extra money to spend and a little bit of extra room in your leather shop, none of us have either of those. It's a really cool addition to your shop. So until next time, guys, I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply, and I hope you have a great day.